As we mark 200 days since Donald Trump began his second term, we want to consider a very powerful message from our 16th president, Abraham Lincoln. Our next guest, historian Jon Meacham, picked this quote for us from Lincoln's annual address to Congress back in 1862. Quote, "Fellow citizens, we cannot escape history. We of this Congress and this administration will be remembered in spite of ourselves. The fiery trial through which we pass will light us down in honor or dishonor to the latest generation." Lincoln gave that address 1 month before he signed the Emancipation Proclamation. Jon Meacham joins us now. He's the author of Then There Was Light, Abraham Lincoln and the American Struggle. Jon, you've written that and obviously so much more, but I wanted you to join us tonight and think about President Trump's first 200 days, because that's where we are tonight. And I want you to think about Abraham Lincoln, someone who I know you have studied, written about, and consider to be one of our greatest presidents. What made you pick that particular quote, those words?
Because Lincoln puts us on the spot. People like me spend a lot of time, understandably, describing, studying, articulating, trying to find something new to say about the great leaders of the past. But what Lincoln understood, and what I think all of us have to understand anew, is that democracies are not just about the leaders, it's about the led. And that's all of us. Democracy is the fullest manifestation of all of us, of our hearts and minds, our habits, our appetites, our ambitions, our hopes and our fears. And somehow, over the last 250 years, the American Republican, lowercase r, experiment has endured. But it has endured with our being out of compliance for more years with the Declaration of Independence than we have been in compliance with it. Now, that is not to say that because we have made progress in the past, we have pursued a more perfect union. That does not mean we will continue to do so simply because we've done it in the past. But if we realize that we can't escape history, as Lincoln said, and that, as he said later in that same paragraph, we're either going to meanly lose or nobly save the last best hope of Earth. And he saw the Civil War not only about the abolition of slavery and the durability of union, but also it was a test for democracy. He said that at Gettysburg, right? Can this a form of government so conceived long endure? And that's what we're facing.
You know, when we look at leaders and leadership, there's this idea that leaders have a strong moral character. But think about the character we've seen displayed in the last 200 days, not just from the president, but from leaders across the board. In the first Trump administration, when the Muslim ban was put in place, think about all the leaders, right, in business and culture and society who stood up and said, this is not who we are. After Charlottesville, they said, this is not who we are. Fast forward to where we are right now, and you think about all the business leaders who say, man, I have a fiduciary responsibility. I just have to play ball with this president no matter what. I can't get in the way. I can't be his adversary, even if it's the right thing to do, because I've got bills to pay. What will that mean for us long-term, big picture?
Long-term, big picture, democratic institutions, lowercase d in this case, I'm doing a lot of alphabetizing here, is that we may or may not have the same institutional norms and customs that you and I grew up with and that we're accustomed to. And when we say norms, I think people look at people who look like me and think, okay, old white man says norms, you know, that's sweet, that's the deep state, blah, blah, blah. Not really, because as a fundamental reality, no law can cover everything. No statute can cover everything. There's something about the spirit of the laws. There are certain norms. There are certain expectations. You raise, you know, is this who we are? Yeah, it is who a lot of us are. And I throw myself in the, you know, the top of the guilty pile there. However, the point of the United States of America is that because that's who we are on our less good days does not mean that's who we have to be all the time.